Welcome to Quantum Computing Watch, where each month we map and explain the top strategic events reshaping the landscape of the industry. In May 2026, we continue to move beyond quantum computing as theoretical research. Driven by an historic $2 billion cash injection from the U.S. government, the global race for quantum supremacy is escalating into an industrial war. In this briefing, we're going to count down the top 3 quantum computing events of the month. Events that are fundamentally altering both capital markets and corporate strategy. I'm George Geis, and this is a Quantum Computing Watch briefing. To set the stage, I've launched a visual application that tracks companies, relationships, and events across the quantum market. When we prompt the system to map key events of May 2026, it generates a constellation containing blue nodes, which are major events for global players that include, say, for example, here is Pascal, which is a company based in France, a neutral atom quantum computing company. Here's Origin Computing, China's leading superconducting qubit company. Here is IQM, a Finnish company that specializes in superconducting quantum computers. You get the idea. This is definitely an international market. But what we want to concentrate on today is this cluster right in here. And let's take a look at one event in that cluster as number 3 in our list, and that is Quantinuum. Coming in at number 3 is a major milestone in how the financial world values the quantum promise. In May 2026, Quantinuum, born from the marriage of Honeywell's hardware expertise and Cambridge Quantum software stack, publicly set IPO terms for a Nasdaq listing. The company proposed offering 21 million shares to raise $1.05 billion, implying a fully diluted valuation of roughly $12.7 billion for this trapped ion company. Interestingly, because its TCAT software stack is hardware agnostic, Quantinuum is also positioned to capture revenue even when developers choose to run algorithms on competitors' machines, non-trapped ion. Following a surge of investor enthusiasm, Quantinuum actually increased its valuation target and total capital raise in early June to reflect growing market confidence. The IPO is scheduled to be launched later this week. I'm recording this before the IPO. So why does this matter? For years, quantum computing existed primarily in the realm of venture capital, risky private bets on future tech. By targeting a valuation north now of $14 billion, Quantinuum is reinforcing the signal that quantum computing is ready for public markets. Quantinuum is raising over $1 billion as it moves technology out of the lab and into commercial scale operations. It's a statement of intent, a declaration that quantum pure plays are ready to compete with traditional tech giants for the wallets of investors. All right, let's move this constellation over and come to the central entity in the central event in this hub. And that is, at number 2, we pivot from the stock market to the engine room of national strategy. In a dramatic series of announcements, the U.S. Department of Commerce confirmed the distribution of over $2 billion in federal incentives to 9 different quantum technology companies. You can see the 9, they're clustered around this event. However, this was not a traditional grant program. By utilizing the framework of the CHIPS and Science Act, the government essentially took a seat at the table, securing minority, non-controlling interest in these firms. Some of them are public, those are the gold ones, and some private, those are colored in pink. And IBM's colored differently, as we'll see. So this multimodality approach acknowledges a quiet reality in the quantum industry. Different quantum architectures will likely be specialized for different applications, such as photonics may be important in securing networking, and neutral atoms may be used in complex optimization. So rather, as opposed to resulting in a single winner-take-all hardware paradigm, these multi-modality dimension comes to play. So why does this matter? This is a significant policy shift. It sparked a fierce debate, by the way, with some critics questioning whether the U.S. government should adopt a sovereign wealth fund approach to private technology. But the message is clear. The U.S. government now views quantum computing as a critical national security asset, not just private innovation. By spreading $2 billion across multiple modalities, the different physical methods used to build quantum processors, the government made a move to hedge its bets so that no matter which technology approach wins, America has a stake in the outcome. So let's now move over to number one. That involves IBM, this major company colored in red. And that will have to do with this event. The top event of May 2026 is the creation of Anderon. While the overall $2 billion government investment is historic, the centerpiece of the strategy is the launch of America's first pure-play quantum foundry. IBM, backed by a $1 billion matching investment from the Department of Commerce, is establishing this standalone company in Albany, New York. You can think of Anderon not just as another laboratory, but as a factory for the future. Currently, quantum computers are largely built using fragmented artisan-style processes. Anderon aims to industrialize this by creating a 300 millimeter wafer factory, superconducting wafer factory, that will leverage decades of mature CMOS fabrication tools from traditional silicon manufacturers, bypassing the need to invent an entirely new supply chain from scratch. Following this announcement, by the way, IBM also committed an additional $10 billion towards its quantum roadmap that occurred later in the month. So this aggressive path towards large-scale fault-tolerant systems by 2029 helped send IBM stock price soaring later, also in May. It's often been said that the winners of technological revolutions aren't always the people who invent the first devices. They're the people, the companies who build the infrastructure to manufacture them at scale. So why does this matter? By creating a dedicated foundry, the U.S. is pulling quantum computing out of the handcrafted era and pushing it into the era of mass production. All right, so as we close the books on May 2026, the trajectory of this industry has become clearer. In a single month, we witnessed the financial sector put a $14 billion plus price tag on a pure-play quantum company. We saw the federal government take equity stakes in America's quantum destiny. We saw the foundation poured for the world's first true quantum factory. So many are no longer asking if quantum will impact the world. They're asking when. When will we achieve fault-tolerant computers? When will the economic value of quantum hit the trillions? The investments, the IPOs, and the foundry all point to the same conclusion. The quantum age has arrived. It's being built in factories, traded on the Nasdaq, and a centerpiece of the highest levels of national policy. Subscribe as we continue to track the strategic ripples of events as they reshape the quantum computing market.